Ariana Grande is finally getting called out for her toxic behavior after over a decade in the spotlight. But we dug deep and found some celebs who tried to warn us about her years and years ago. First off, if you aren't already caught up on all the Ariana Grande drama, here is the quick scoop. Ariana was married to Dalton Gomez, but while filming the upcoming Wicked movie, she reportedly fell in love with her co-star Ethan Slater, whose claim to fame is playing SpongeBob on Broadway. But here's the kicker, SpongeBob has a spouse, and so does Ariana. Ariana filed for divorce in 2022 from Dalton, and Ethan Slater's wife and child are apparently betrayed by his affair with Ariana. Oh no. But this is not the first time Ariana has come under fire for cheating. Nia Rivera, the late star of Glee, had some tea to spill in her book. Ariana began dating Nia's ex-fiance Big Sean not too long after they called off their wedding plans in 2014. But according to Nia, all was not well in her relationship. She and Big Sean had been fighting frequently while he was on the road. That's not the most fun thing to go through, but it is about to get even more dramatic. According to Refinery 29, one chapter contains the following quote. On the one day that he was back in LA, he said he didn't want to see me, but since she had a key, she let herself into his house. I walked in, I went downstairs, and guess what little girl is sitting cross-legged on the couch listening to music? It rhymes with Samariana Shaman Day. It's unclear exactly what Nia is alluding to here, but it doesn't seem like she was too pleased to find them hanging out together. As we know, Big Sean and Ariana went on to date for nearly a year, and Nia got engaged and married to Ryan Dorsey before sadly passing away in 2020 after a drowning incident. Ariana's Nickelodeon co-star Jennette McCurdy also had some very unpleasant things to say about her. When Victorious ended, Nickelodeon created a spin-off in which Ariana Grande would reprise her role as Kat Valentine, and Jennette McCurdy of iCarly would reprise her role as Sam Puckett. The short-lived series Sam and Kat ran for one season, but that didn't stop the show from having some behind-the-scenes drama. In 2014, TMZ reported that McCurdy was being paid less than Grande on the Nickelodeon show, even though the two of them shared equal billing. Grande denied the pay rumors on her Facebook page. I am not making more money than my co-star, nor do I think I should be. So we can all move on and get out of our heads that this was a money thing, cause I don't play like that at all. I am, have always been, and always will be about equality and fairness. In her book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, McCurdy reflects on the disdain she felt for Grande, who she claims was given special treatment during their time on Sam and Kat. I'm pissed about it. I'm pissed at her, jealous of her, so now every time she misses work, it feels like a personal attack. From that moment on, I didn't like her. I couldn't like her, she writes. Jennette also shares a time Ariana was able to miss filming an episode because of conflicts with her budding singing career, but Jennette was never allowed to miss a day. There was also one time when Jennette was on set for Sam and Kat, ready to shoot an episode, when Ariana came humming happily late onto set. Jennette asked where she was, and Ariana told her she had dinner with Tom Hanks the night before. Jennette says she was fuming of jealousy. Pete Davidson, Ariana's ex-boyfriend, had some dramatic things to say about her as well. The singer and Saturday Night Live star connected in 2016 while they were both in relationships and later became inseparable. In May 2018, they were confirmed as a couple. Just weeks later, the lovebirds announced their engagement and immediately started sharing the juicy details of their relationship. In fact, Grande publicly spoke about David's manhood on several occasions, which the comedian was less than thrilled about. The couple seemed infatuated and super happy, so when it all came crashing down after only 4 months, everybody was a bit shocked. After the breakup, Grande tried to reach out, but Davidson wanted nothing to do with the Thank You Next singer. He blocked her and said, "Stop reaching out. You're not good for my health. I cannot have this in my life." Yikes. Kanye West has beef with just about every celebrity, and apparently including Miss Ariana Grande. In December 2018, Kanye West went after Grande for offering unsolicited commentary while he was in the middle of a Twitter rant about Drake, after she encouraged the public to turn their attention away from the grown men arguing online and instead to focus on a song she was gearing up to release. The rapper called Grande out for trying to be, quote, cool. In a follow-up tweet, he expressed disappointment in the singer for capitalizing on his mental health. All of this foolishness weighed on my mental health, so at Ariana Grande, you know I got love for you, but until you're ready to really make sure everybody's okay, don't use me or this moment to promote a song. Yikes. Drake Bell also had something to say about Ariana. Drake Bell is most known for his role in Nickelodeon's Drake and Josh. Since the show's wrap in 2008, Bell has busied himself with making music and criticizing some of Hollywood's biggest stars. In a lengthy rant about the industry, he targeted Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga, among others, and shared his thoughts on Ariana Grande, deeming her undeserving of her career. Wow, there's just a lot of really young, entitled people, he says. I don't think a lot of these young people have to work very hard, he told that to BuzzFeed. Ariana Grande is a billionaire before she's been an artist. You have to work to be able to appreciate what you have. What work did she ever have to do in her life? Also, apparently to James Charles, Ariana Grande is the, quote, rudest celebrity he has ever met, despite the fact that they've apparently never actually met in person. In 2018, Charles claimed that the two had started a virtual friendship after he'd attended one of her concerts and shared footage of it online. At the time, Charles was experiencing severe backlash for numerous online controversies, including his infamous tweet about Ebola, where he tweeted, "I can't believe we're going to Africa today. OMG, what if we get Ebola?" Oh, James. Ariana apparently did not like this comment, as well as many others, and unfollowed James on Instagram. I messaged her and I was like, hey, did I do something wrong? And she literally was like, hey babe, I just saw a lot of angry tweets from my fans and I would never want to disappoint them, so I unfollowed you, James said in a YouTube video. James reportedly sent back a strong-worded message to the singer and says he later regretted how he handled the situation with her. But honestly, I think Ariana was lucky to get out of that situation while she could, as James's biggest scandal was yet to come. In 2021, a 16-year-old boy claimed Charles had pressured him into exchanging photos via the Snapchat app. Charles spoke out against the allegations and claimed he had been unaware of the boy's age at the time of the interaction. But just a couple days later, 3 more males came forward to share their negative Snapchat experiences with James, including a 17-year-old boy that states James continued flirting with him after finding out his age. Yikes. Back to Ariana, another celebrity who has had some beef with her is the queen herself, Rihanna. Rihanna's shady side came in full force during Ariana's performance at the 2014 iHeartRadio Music Awards. When Ariana took to the stage to perform, many thought her dance moves appeared sloppy, and apparently so did Rihanna. The camera panned to her multiple times, covering her mouth, giggling during Ariana's performance. But this isn't the first time Riri has took a swipe at stars on stage. In 2013, she appeared physically repulsed when Miley Cyrus twerked in front of Robin Thicke during the VMAs, and also during Britney Spears' disastrous 2007 performance of Give Me More. There was also a burst of giggles from Rihanna. Lindsay Lohan also had some thoughts about Ariana, and they aren't too nice. When Ariana posted a picture on Instagram posing with Hairspray Live co-star Dove Cameron, Lindsay felt the urge to comment, "Too much makeup." Ariana's fans stepped in right away with some pretty mean comments to Lindsay, such as @Lindsay Lohan, "But your movie career didn't even last adult years. By the time you were 24, you already looked 42. No one knows the true beef between Lindsay and Ariana, but it's clear Lindsay is not a fan. Jay Brooks, Ariana Grande's ex-boyfriend, says she cheated on him with singer Nathan Sykes. Nathan and Ariana collaborated on a song and apparently got a little too close for comfort. Brooks ranted on Twitter saying, "Once you're cheated on, you should never go back, and I did because I wasn't ready to give up on love and something that was everything to me." The singer added, "Today was supposed to be our 1-year anniversary, but instead I'm writing this. Do you know how this makes me feel?" She may not respond to this post, may ignore it, may deny it, or may own up to it. She's gonna do what's best for her and do what she thinks is right, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm looking out for myself. Good for you, Jay. Good for you. Although, Frankie Grande, Ariana's brother, wrote, "Anybody who believes that rumor about my sister cheating needs to pause, open their eyes, and remember how much she loved him. He crushed her with a phone breakup, and to see Ari that miserable broke my heart." Jay fired back with, "Don't you dare talk about me. You don't even know me." Last but not least, we have Juliana Rancic, a reporter for E! News. She and Ariana met on the red carpet carpet and she told US Weekly, "I was at the AMAs and little Ariana comes over. I feel like, bing, elbow in my side. I'm like, what's going on? And they pushed me to the other side, so I had to be on my ugly side. But I felt a little bit of, it was like you either get on the other side or we don't do an interview." Rancic added, "I just felt like it's one thing if it's Mariah Carey, I'll get on any side. I'll bend down, I'll climb a ladder, whatever it takes to get Mariah to do an interview. But when you're new to the block, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Try to get a great reputation, try to go overboard to please people. I guess Ariana knows her good side and will do anything to not film on the bad side."
Number 10. Mark Wahlberg. Ted was a massive hit when it came to theaters in 2012, a film about Mark Wahlberg and his sentient teddy bear drinking no-no juice and partying with Flash Gordon. It's genuinely hilarious, and I was stoked when a sequel was announced in 2015. There was one notable difference though between the first and second film. Apart from the second film feeling like an extended episode of Family Guy, there was also a new face taking the place as Mark's love interest. Amanda Seyfried was brought in to replace Mila Kunis' character for the first film. At the end of the first Ted, Mila and Mark are able to patch things up and seem to be heading towards a happy, healthy relationship. However, when the offer for a sequel came to the table, the tone was shifted. For personal reasons like, being pregnant when principal photography on the project began, the creator and voice of Ted still works with Mila to this day, as she's still the voice of Meg on the show Family Guy even after all these years. Mark Wahlberg actually blames Mila partly for the low score on the film as well as the loss of millions of dollars from the budgets. Now, not like, "Oh Mila, you menace, how could you?" It's more like, if Mila was in the movie, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. I know, stupid babies being born, right? That's a direct quote from Mark Wahlberg. I'm just kidding, it's not. Number 9, Macaulay Culkin. The star of some childhood favorites like Home Alone and Richie Rich was actually dating Mila Kunis for a while, almost 10 years to be specific, but they had a really nasty split in 2011. Kunis actually blames herself, telling the hosts of the Armchair Experts podcast that she took time when she was single to try and piece together what happened and why she did it. While she never confirmed what exactly went down, the split came in 2011, and it was around the same time that Ashton Kutcher and his wife, Demi Moore, started having problems. There are heavy rumors out there suggesting that Mila cheated on Culkin with Ashton. The accusations came as a surprise to many people, as only 2 years before Mila and Macaulay split, she had gushed about him to Women's Health, telling him she found a steady rock in her life and that he was all she needed. The split was messy, and while there was no confirmation on what happened, the outcome left both parties uninterested and annoyed with each other. If she didn't cheat on him, I don't know what happened. Maybe she tried to rob his house while his parents were gone, or let him get stung by a bee. Who knows? Alright, one more. Maybe she tried to rob his family's fortune from a vault carved into a mountain of their faces, but it turned out that the treasure was really family all along. Maybe. Number 8, cast of Bad Moms. Bad Moms is one of the more memorable movies that Mila Kunis ever made, starring herself, Kristen Bell, and Kathryn Hahn as the leading moms of the movie. Fun fact, the cast for this film was almost very different and was also going to be directed by someone completely different. Before the project was given to Mila Kunis and the directors John Lucas and Scott Moore, it was actually in the hands of Judd Apatow and his wife/leading lady, Leslie Mann. They decided to drop the project altogether, and it was eventually greenlit with an entirely new cast. But even with Mila involved, the cast continued to change. Women were agreeing and quitting over and over again, and eventually the final 3 were selected. Mila says that it might have been a sign of women not helping each other in Hollywood, or maybe the script was bad and there was no confidence in the project. It's probably that one. Number 7, Ashton Kutcher. Ashton was doing okay for himself in life, taking time away from acting to be with his family. However, earlier this year, himself and his wife Mila decided to support their That 70s Show co-star Danny Matheson as he was being brought to trial for mistreatment charges stemming back to 2004. Ashton and Mila said terrible things in support of this man, claiming that he was someone to look up to and that they loved him. Ashton and Mila have been controversial for a long time, since the moment that it was speculated that Ashton left Demi Moore for Mila. Ashton was also a founder of an organization whose goal was to aid those suffering from mistreatment and trafficking, especially underage individuals. Now, of course, following the whole Danny situation, he was forced to step down as the founder and a member because it became just hypocritical for him to be involved. He's never spoken negatively about Mila, but a rift is definitely forming thanks to this incident and probably some other stuff going on behind the scenes. Number 6, That 70s Show. That 70s Show was the star vehicle that created the careers for several celebrities. Ashton Ashton Kutcher, Topher Grace, and of course Mila Kunis came out on top, starring in several films and TV shows amongst their careers. During her time at that 70s show, she had to keep a pretty serious secret to herself, as it should have meant that she would be kicked off the show. When Mila auditioned to work on the show, she actually lied about her age in order to be on the set all day and actually land this role. The then 14-year-old pretended she was 18. She was casted and the show started to ramp up production, and by the time that her secret was discovered, the creators just kinda liked her at that point and honestly didn't care. The show may have launched her career and a few others, but keeping the young star on a series like that only made it seem like it was okay to lie if it gets you a job. Yes, I know people do that all the time, and no, I've never done that because I'm a bad liar. Number 5, Kate McKinnon. Kate is a hilarious woman. Every time I watch Saturday Night Live, I just miss her presence. But of course, Kate just got too famous for the show and was moved into the world of Hollywood with no effort. She appeared as a lead, a secondary lead, and most recently she appeared as Weird Barbie in Barbie. In 2018, herself and Mila Kunis starred together in an action comedy called The Spy Who Dumped Me, as best friends who get wrapped up in an international conspiracy when one of them discovers their boyfriend who dumped them is a spy. Yeah, that plot is a little strange, although it's a pretty solid movie. It sits around 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mila's role in the project was actually something that she claims to have done as a favor to the director. In her 20 years of acting, Mila had never worked with a female director on anything. Even the project Bad Moms was directed by men, so she jumped at the chance to make an action comedy with a female leading the charge. Kate was never said anything bad about Mila or her time on set because there was no bad time on set. Mila is professional for the most part, and because of Kate's own energy being so fun and chaotic, it's just hard to find moments of anger with them. Number 4, Demi Moore. Demi and Ashton were an item for quite some time before he left her suddenly and started seeing his current wife, Mila Kunis. The split never sat well with Demi, and while there appeared to be no overlapping on the surface, it was revealed that Ashton more than likely cheated on her with Mila Kunis when they were still dating. Mila Kunis broke up a 10-year marriage in her eyes, something that she will never let go, and why should she? Cheating is messed up. And they did not handle the situation very well at all. As the years have gone by, Demi has grown more and more apprehensive to Ashton. Ever since the Danny situation took place, she's kept quiet on her opinions, but that was telling by itself. Mila is considered to be an antagonist in her life and is to blame for the split between herself and Ashton. Considering the life that Ashton's been living in recent years is probably something that Demi is thankful for. Anyone remember that stellar and definitely not offensive Pop Chips commercial? No? Google it. Number 3, Jessica Biel. Jessica is currently married to Justin Timberlake from NSYNC, who is already going through his own set of public issues, but it turns out that Mila and Justin did not just star in the movie Friends with Benefits, they were actually friends with the Benedicts. The Benefits. In 2011, the two had apparently developed a secret love, despite Justin being with Jessica Biel at the time. They actually ended up splitting up not long before the film was released in theaters. Although the two always insisted that they were just friends, according to on-set sources, they were inseparable during the weeks leading up to the film's release. It makes perfect sense that Jessica wouldn't want another woman being interested in her man, even if they weren't together. What's worse about the situation is that Mila and Jessica both auditioned for the leading role in Friends with Benefits, but Jessica was rejected. Even after Mila moved on to Justin and Jessica got back together with Justin, there was still a lot of bad energy between them that seems to exist to this day. Number 2, Netflix. For those who missed it, Mila starred in a little movie called Luckiest Girl Alive as the leading lady. It follows Mila as a woman in New York who seems to have everything together, but a traumatic experience unravels her life. The thing with this film is it feels like the studio just didn't really care about it. There were a few big name actors in the movie, with Mila being the person with the most experience, and I personally know that the set of this film just had a lot of bad energy surrounding it. I got to work for these guys for like 3 days a couple years ago, and it was the longest 3 days of my life. I signed an NDA, so I can't tell you all the stuff I saw or experienced personally, but considering the low budget, the low advertisement, and the terrible set, Netflix may have been trying to warn us that she's not worth our time, or money, or effort, or anything. Number 1, herself. Mila warned us about herself when herself and her husband decided to release letters supporting Danny Matheson. For those who don't know, Danny was accused by several women of misconduct and mistreatment stemming back to 2004 when he was still on That 70s Show. At the time, the show was stopped and he was investigated, but because of the time and the limited amount of evidence, the case was dropped. Thankfully, in 2023, it's a lot easier to confirm allegations like this, and he was recently convicted and will serve 3 years in prison. Before the conviction, Danny received letters from former co-stars and colleagues that were written to support his character. Mila and Ashton wrote separate letters to Danny detailing how much they respected him. At one point, Mila literally calls him a role model to themselves and their kids. She received an insane amount of backlash along with Ashton, and they were forced to make a public apology for supporting Danny. Now, if they had just waited a couple of weeks, let things happen naturally, he would have been convicted and they would not have been involved. But instead, her character was called into question, she had to leave a company she worked for, and who knows where her career will go from here. Number 10, Cindy Crawford. Model and actress Cindy Crawford has called Oprah out over their 1986 interview that took place on her show, where Oprah asked the then 20-year-old to expose herself to the crowd. Crawford reflected on the interview in a new documentary called The Supermodels on Apple TV+. Everyone has a plus now. The documentary spotlights the career of several models like Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, and of course Cindy Crawford. In a clip from the documentary, Winfrey is heard introducing the then aspiring supermodel to the Oprah Winfrey Show before she asked, "Hey, did she always have this body? This is unbelievable. Stand up." Now that's what I call a body. She's visibly just uncomfortable and sheepishly stands up before the studio audience cheers as she shows off her figure. According to Cindy, she felt like a child in that moment being told what to do by a superior. She felt that the moment was more of a "show us why you're worthy of being here" type thing. At the time, this was just some weird thing that Oprah asked her to do, but it morphed and mutated into one of the most uncomfortable moments of her early years in modeling. The most shocking thing for her was the fact that this was Oprah Winfrey trying to tell her what to do. The woman known for kindness and generosity and cars made her feel like a puppet. Number 9, Jason Momoa. Aquaman, the enemy of Dom Toretto, and now a man speaking out on Oprah Winfrey and Maui. Jason Momoa is a gifted actor, and by all accounts he is a gifted person as well. Recently, several news outlets have claimed that Jason is on the opposing side of this whole Maui fun thing. If you don't know what that's about, go check out some of our previous videos about Oprah Winfrey where we do it in, deeper dive. According to these outlets, Jason posted a video to Instagram in which he addresses the fires and offers his own support to the victims while never actually mentioning anyone by name. He does mention that some may use this as a way to exploit or make profit, but that was not his intentions. The clip went viral, and as you can guess, outlets were interpreting everything that they could out of it, with the biggest headline being Jason Momoa calls out Oprah for wildfires. While not completely inaccurate, the general consensus is that there is actually no bad, juju between these people. Jason has yet to specify who would profit from this, but since the backlash, he's been posting videos on a regular basis, updating people on the situation and his position in assisting so far. Of course, he's already donated lots of money to the island and has teamed up with Dwayne Johnson to do public functions and collaborations and raise awareness, so that's great considering where it spawned from. Number 8, Dwayne Johnson. Now, when it comes to the whole Maui fun situation, there is one person who is usually left out of the conversation, and that is Dwayne Johnson. Johnson is of course one of the most bankable men in Hollywood, starring in like a million franchises, mostly in the jungle. He decided to partner with Oprah Winfrey to create the People Fund of Maui, donated $5 million of his own money to match Oprah's donation. The Rock received a large amount of criticism, but not nearly as much as Oprah did. The main reason being is that The Rock actually has a significantly smaller net worth, and the money that he donated was actually his own money. He's still only a millionaire, everyone. He's just as poor as the rest of us. Thousands of his followers have defended him rather than passing judgment because, hey, $5 million is a ton of money, and it's gonna make a lot of people's lives that much easier. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of information regarding his position towards Oprah, but the comments on their posts have been turned off, and the People's Fund of Maui has raised a lot of money since, so at least something good's coming from all the negativity. Number 7, Tom Hanks. Rumors have been circulating online that Tom Hanks may have received some inside information about the Maui wildfires that pertain to Oprah Winfrey. Now, a ton of videos have been published online in the last couple months claiming that Oprah orchestrated the Maui wildfires and hired a private team of firefighters to make it look more real. According to several media outlets, Tom was made aware of a secret plot because, he's so close to Oprah. The two have been known to share the occasional night out and some pasta. Well, it turns out that these were in fact rumors created by an AI. Someone told a computer to write a story about Tom Hanks and Oprah, and it came up with Oprah sets Maui on fire. So that should tell you how good AI is. While a catching thumbnail and surely a fun bit of information, the reality is that Tom has no idea what's going on. When asked about his position on the Maui Fund, he had nothing but positive things to say and is actually a little disappointed with the reaction from the world. When America's dad tells you he's disappointed in you, that's just an extra level of hurt. Number 6. Oprah Winfrey herself. Oprah is taking one of the bigger spots on this list because she has been trying to warn us about herself since day one. Her talk show is all about bringing the most vulnerable people on and getting views. She's brought violence victims, health experts, fake psychologists, and even convicted felons onto her program, all for the sake of making a few bucks. As the years went by, her style was adapted by more and more studios, creating shows like Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, who were both equally as controversial. Not to mention a few years ago when she wrote a book detailing her life and rise to the top, she revealed some truly dark things about her home life. Again, covered that in detail in a different video. She herself was considered to be a tyrant by her family, but it seems that whatever negative juju was in that house rubbed off on her forever. Now, there are actually a pretty limited number of celebrities who warned us about Oprah, because overall most stories are fake that are out there in the world. So let's talk about some lives that have been destroyed by Oprah Winfrey when they actually did go on her show for real. Number 5, a fabricated memoir. Oprah launched her book club in 1996, a reading encouraging segment from her talk show that turned any book that she chose into a bestseller. In September of 2005, she picked A Million Little Pieces, a brutal and painful memoir by James Fret about his years-long struggle with substance control issues. A Million Little Pieces became the best-selling non-fiction book of the year, and Frey was asked to appear on her talk show to discuss the book that Oprah called gut-wrenching. However, the following year, a news outlet ran a very expositive article about Frey after it was discovered that he made up or juiced large portions of his memoir. For example, there is a section of the book that tells the story of Frey surviving a fatal train crash that took the lives of 2 teenagers. He was never on that train, nor did he have any involvement with that situation. Weeks after the article broke, Oprah asked Frey to return to the show, where he faced livid viewers and an even more livid Oprah. She told James that she felt duped and betrayed, and that feeling was shared by her audience and millions of people who read that book. She asked why James felt the need to lie to herself and the readers, and he tried everything, making every excuse that he could think of. He claimed that he altered a lot of the details, but that the overall plot was real. The studio audience responded with a massive wave of boos, gasps, and groans. Winfrey later apologized for the mistreatment from her audience, as it was not her intention, but the damage was already done and his career as a writer is currently non-existent. Number 4, Harry and Meghan. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan have appeared in the public eye more and more in the past few years. After leaving the duties of their royal family to live on their own, they decided to capitalize on their so-called fame by releasing a series of different medias, books, podcasts, documentaries, and in 2021 they sat down with Oprah Winfrey to air out every piece of dirty laundry that was left in their hamper. Of course, the royal family does not appreciate these secrets being shared with, the world, so not only was Harry blacklisted by them, but the interview kind of soiled the royals' reputation as good people. According to fans of Oprah, the interview made the couple look more villainous than they surely intended. Following the interview, their public image was slightly tainted, and with more media coming out, it just made the situation even worse. Meghan got a podcast and couldn't keep up with material for the first year. They made a documentary that people just don't like, so who knows what they'll get up to next. It certainly will not be anything good. Number 3, Lance Armstrong. 7-time Tour de France winner Lance Armstrong has gone down in history as a man who is unable to ride a bike without using some chemical training wheels. In an interview with Oprah from 2013, Lance was brought on to discuss the allegations floating around regarding his status as a Tour de France winner. Several sources claimed that Lance had to take performance-enhancing substances to win each race, as well as a type of transfusion involving the red life juice that flows inside of all of us. Armstrong went on air and fessed up to every single thing that had been claimed about him, except he did deny the notion that he was some kind of a mastermind who was controlling his teammates and forcing them to join in his extracurricular activities. But amidst his admission of guilt, to say that 10 times fast, there was a moment where he tried to pin the situation on his battle with cancer. He wraps it up by saying that he should have tried harder to cancel the culture rather than create more of a problem. He was stripped of all 7 Tour de France titles and has since lived in exile among the cycling world and honestly just the world in general. Number 2, Where's the beef? In spring 1996, the United Kingdom apparently experienced an outbreak of bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or mad cow disease, since I can't pronounce that last word properly. According to the FDA, the disease destroys cows' central nervous systems, and if humans eat the infected meat, you get zombies! No, but they can contract a deadly variant called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. During the mad cow scare, the Oprah Winfrey Show booked Howard Lyman. The former cattle rancher had adopted a vegetarian lifestyle and went to work for the Humane Society's Eating with Co-Science Animal Welfare campaign, and he appeared on the show to discuss the threat of mad cows to America. He pointed out that feeding the remains of mad cow to infected cattle or other animals could have facilitated the spread, and that such practices were actually pretty common in the US. Oprah was stunned and vowed that she would never eat a burger ever again. It turns out her influence and her millions of viewers were so large that only a few hours after the episode aired and she declared to never eat a hamburger again, the price of beef plummeted, staying at an all-time low. Like, anyone who had stocks in the beef industry, just not good. One Texas rancher lost an estimated $6.7 million and organized a class action lawsuit against Oprah and her show for talking trash about American beef. After a 6-week trial, she won, leaving someone with no farm and out thousands of extra dollars in legal fees. And at number 1, Tom Cruise. Despite this man being in Mission Impossible, he has been in a lot of movies produced by Tom Cruise. You didn't think Hollywood forgot about the Oprah show, did ya? They didn't. Following the announcement that he was engaged to Katie Holmes in the early 2000s, Tom appeared on an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show that has gone down in history as one of the most chaotic TV moments of all time. From the moment he steps on stage, things are just going wrong. He throws his arms out in the air, he rubs Oprah's shoulder like she's a genie or she's got a stain that just won't come out. Tom jumped on her couch, grabbed her hands, and she couldn't even get a question out. Eventually, Oprah was like, alright, whatever, just bring Katie Holmes out, and the cameras followed Tom as he ran around the studio trying to get her, like he was the nature guy running through a jungle like Steve Irwin back in the day. The moment cemented Tom as a man with many hidden personalities, and while it has not affected his work as an actor, ever since that day, whenever he's brought in for press of any kind, all entrances and exits must be locked just to be safe. Now, that didn't happen, but again, this guy might be in movies, but he's rarely in anything new that he didn't make. So.
Number 10, Jessica Simpson. It appears that both Jessica Simpson and Ryan Gosling knew about Timberlake's shady ways for quite some time. During an interview, Simpson revealed that Timberlake had come over to her house many years ago after she had just come out of a divorce and Timberlake was fresh out of a relationship. But things escalated a little quicker than Simpson was anticipating, and the two ended up sharing a passionate kiss together. Simpson was initially very excited about this, as she was under the impression that there was a bit of a spark between the two, but she recounted how immediately after the kiss, JT pulled out his phone and started texting someone. Well, it turns out that that someone was none other than Ryan Gosling, and he revealed that he had made a bet with the Barbie actor when they were just 12 years old about who would kiss their Mickey Mouse Clubhouse star first. While there's a good chance Gosling probably forgot all about the bet and moved on since he was a functioning adult, it seems like Timberlake just never grew up and totally embarrassed Simpson. Number 9, Prince. The lead singer was a very likable person and didn't really have many enemies, but Justin Timberlake clearly wasn't too pleased with how the Purple Rain singer responded to one of his songs. After Timberlake released his hit song Back, Prince replied that he never left. While it didn't really seem like too much, JT really took the comment to heart and decided to call out Prince in his song Give It To Me when he said, "We missed you on the charts last week, damn, that's right, you wasn't there." On top of that, many people were a little annoyed with JT when he accepted the Golden Globe for Best Original Song in a Motion Picture on Prince's behalf, and he decided to bend down to mimic Prince's small stature. The real cherry on top of the bizarre feud was when Justin displayed a hologram of Prince during his Super Bowl halftime performance after the late singer stated that the whole practice of holograms was demonic. Number 8, Britney Spears. This is a name that we'll be seeing and hearing a lot of when it comes to Justin Timberlake. She really didn't have many good things to say about her ex-boyfriend in her new memoir, and she made some absolutely shocking revelations about her fellow singer. Now, while Timberlake had his own view on things back in the day, and many people initially felt bad for him after he claimed Spears cheated on him, it appears Britney had her own shocking side to the story. Spears is on the set of the music video for Overprotected Dark Child remix when she mysteriously went missing for an hour on the second day of filming. Director Chris Applebaum revealed that he found the singer in her trailer where she was bawling her eyes out. That is when she revealed her phone to Applebaum and showed him that she had received a text message from Justin Timberlake which simply read, "It's over." Now, for two people who had such a long history together, that was a pretty cold way to end things, and as you will see later in this video, it wasn't the only time that JT caused some heartbreak for Britney. Number 7, SZA. Justin Timberlake has had a number of mishaps on television before, but this one really struck a chord with a lot of people who were in the audience and at home watching on TV. The two superstars appeared together on The Ellen Show along with Anderson .Paak to speak about their roles and the Troll World Tour. However, while Timberlake and Paak had every opportunity to answer the questions that were answered directly to them, Timberlake decided he wanted to try and crack open the jokes while SZA was trying to answer Ellen's questions. Timberlake kept interrupting and saying, "What are you doing to him, sis?" while using what many described as a black scent way of speaking. Aside from the fact that he was undermining SZA and not giving her the chance to answer Ellen's questions directly, many people did not take too kindly to Timberlake's fake accent. He's faced a bit of heat over being racially insensitive on numerous occasions, and this incident definitely didn't help his case. Number 6, Jessica Biel. This was more a case of the internet warning everyone about Justin Timberlake was doing to his wife. It seems like JT just can't keep his hands off anyone as he was photographed holding hands with his Palmer co-star, Alicia Wainwright. While that may not seem like too big of a deal to some people, it should be noted that Biel was pregnant with her and Justin's second child at the time. This obviously sent the internet into a huge frenzy as many people believed the singer and actor was cheating on his wife, and it sparked so much trouble that Timberlake actually had to post a public statement on Instagram. Timberlake let everyone know that nothing was happening between him and his co-star, but he acknowledged the fact that it was a severe lapse in judgment. He also noted that it caused serious issues for Biel and his family and seeked forgiveness for his actions, but it's pretty clear that his judgment in these kinds of scenarios is not the greatest. Number 5, Kylie Minogue. Justin Timberlake found himself in hot water again over a video of him performing with Kylie Minogue at the 2003 Brit Awards in London. And with everything that's on the internet, this one has resurfaced on Instagram in the wake of the JT controversy. In the video, Justin is seen grabbing Kylie's behind while they're performing. And according to reports, he had apparently asked her for permission before the performance, but she refused. Later on, he even bragged about representing America to the fullest by copying a feel. So that's exactly the kind of person that Justin is. He has a history of harming women, and this is all a part of it. You might think this wasn't a big deal, but the fact that Kylie refused and he still went ahead and did it is a huge indication of his entitlement. This is hardly the first time Justin has been embroiled in a controversy involving a female pop star though. This wasn't a big deal, but the fact that Kylie refused and he still went ahead and did it is a huge indication of his entitlement. This is hardly the first time Justin has been embroiled in a controversy involving a female pop star though. In recent years, the once seemingly untouchable president of pop has been going through a reckoning. He's been the subject of many a think piece about the double standards women face in the music industry, so it makes sense that people are now looking back on his controversial moments and talking about his red flags. Number 4, Michelle Williams. From reflecting on some of her most iconic performances to shedding light on her conservatorship, Britney Spears' memoir is the gift that keeps on giving. Now, thanks to the audiobook, we also have a recording of Michelle Williams doing an impression of Justin Timberlake while narrating the memoir. A clip from the audiobook has since gone viral and has almost 17 million views. In the clip, Michelle recounts the embarrassing moment Britney and Justin ran into R&B singer Ginuwine. She said, "One day, Jay and I were in New York going to parts of town I'd never been to before. Walking our way was a guy with a huge blinged out medallion. He was flanked by 2 giant security guards, and Jay got all excited and said so loud, 'Oh yeah, faux shiz Ginuwine, what's up, homie?' Britney said that Justin wasn't even embarrassed when her assistant started mocking him for the incident. In the memoir, Britney explained that she sometimes thought Justin and his group NSYNC tried too hard to fit in with hip-hop artists that they hung out with. The clip sent internet users into a frenzy, with many people joking about Michelle's hilarious impression of Justin Timberlake. Number 3, Britney Spears Part 2. Yeah, there is a lot about JT in the Britney Spears memoir, and so much so that she deserves to be on this list multiple times. While things obviously did not end well between Timberlake and Spears, it turns out there was a pretty shocking moment that happened during the relationship that more than likely was the beginning of the end. Back in 2000, Britney discovered that she was pregnant with Timberlake's child and was very excited that she was going to get the chance to start a family with her partner. However, JT didn't see eye to eye with Spears and believed that they were too young to raise a child together and wanted absolutely no part in starting a family at the time. This left Spears with a very difficult decision to make, and unfortunately, it ended up with her going against her wishes and getting in a Britney revealed that if the choice had been left solely up to her, she would have gone through with the pregnancy and started a family, and this may have changed her path in life for the better. Number 2, Amanda Seales. Yes, it turns out the SZA incident was not the only time that JT was called out for being racially insensitive. Following the terrible killing of Ahmaud Arbery back in February 2020, many people took to social media to show their support for the victim's family and denounce racially motivated hate crimes. Timberlake joined in on the public outcry by posting a black and white photo of Arbery with the caption, "If you're not outraged, you should be. Justice for Ahmaud Arbery." Well, this initially seemed like a nice tribute while also calling attention to the changes that need to be made in society. Amanda Seales made a post calling out Timberlake for turning off the comments on his post. She stated that he had to be more of an ally and get in the weeds with his fans who are also fans of racist rhetoric. Seales even started her own hashtag #TurnHimOn to call out other celebrities like Timberlake who didn't want to call out their racist followers and help shed even more light on the persistent problems of racism. And number 1, Janet Jackson. Who on earth could forget about this one? It was the ultimate gaffe in the history of Super Bowl gaffes, and one that has lingered over the heads of JT and Janet Jackson since it happened. Of course, we all remember the incident like it was yesterday when Timberlake made the huge mistake of exposing Janet Jackson's chest to millions of people around the world on live TV, and this landed the two performers as well as television broadcasters in some serious hot water with the FCC. The incident meant that Janet Jackson was never allowed to perform at a Super Bowl again. However, Timberlake, who caused the incident in the first place, was invited back in 2018 to perform at the biggest football game of the year as a solo act. Well, even though more than a decade had passed since his last appearance, many people believe that he shouldn't have returned at all after his actions at the 2004 edition. He clearly embarrassed Jackson in a terrible way, and many people believed he never learned from his past mistake.